from now on, whenever you hear of your government warning you about something that is happening regarding the weather, warning you, solar, EMPs, typhoons, cyclones, tsunamis, fires, two things are happening or occurring. Number one, the acclimation and habituation of you to the idea of weather being protean, changing, frightening, scared. They want you to start learning about this, all right? We just went through one of the greatest beta tests ever, one of the greatest dress rehearsals for scaring the living shit out of people, pardon my French, with corona and COVID and all of that biomedical martial law. They know exactly how to freak you out. They know exactly how to mobilize medical, military, scientific, media. That's it. Since the beginning of man, since the first time we ever looked up to the world and said, or up to the sky and said, wow, I wonder what all of this is. I wonder what this rain and thunder is. Man has been trying desperately to control the weather. Since the beginning, since the rain dance, since sacrificing virgins to volcanoes, trying to do something to appease the gods. Let me tell you something. Hunter Thompson said, when the going gets weird, the weird turn pro. My friends, you are going to see things right now that are going to blow your mind. And I have been saying this and warning about this forever. EMPs, electromagnetic pulse generated low orbit nuclear weaponry to fry your grid. No Hiroshima, no Nagasaki, nothing like that. Just everything gone. Think about that. Next, the biggest one ever. And as long as I've been speaking, I've been warning about this. Hydro-imperialism. The casus belli of the next period of our history is going to be water. Water. Water, water everywhere. Nary a drop to drink, I believe. Was that Coleridge? In any event, listen. You can get off the gold standard, you can do whatever you want, but you can't get off the water standard. And desalination is ridiculous because the energy that is required is prohibitive. Who owns water? What was the reason why? What was the reason why they took Gaddafi out? Nationalizing oil? Nah. One of the things he did was he said, I'm going to make Libya arable. I'm going to pump $25 billion into making that, quote, African desert area green and verdant. And what was so important about it? It sits atop the Nubian sandstone aquifer. So they took him out. Water, baby. The Fertile Crescent, the Tigris and the Euphrates. You know what I mean? The Garden of Eden. You look at what was done. You look at what was actually accomplished. The wars that have been fought in large, great, or totally based upon water. Never mentioned. All right? Now let's talk about something also. The ability to control weather. The ability to control anything. But most importantly, to first soften you up. You know, boxers, you know how it is. When you go out, you got to soften the guy up. He's not going to take out. You can't knock him out in 30 seconds. You got to wait. Soften him up. Get us scared. And what's happening? What's about 180 days away from now? What? The election. And let me tell you something. Think about what would happen if all of a sudden, one day you found out that your enemy, whoever our enemy this week is it Russia? Is it NATO? Is it Ukraine? Is it Israel? Is it Hamas? Who is it? It doesn't matter. We live in a Manichaean world of good versus evil. And as long as they tell you who the bad guy is, everything's groovy. That's all that matters. But listen to me carefully. If all of a sudden, everything that you needed to stay alive were gone. And let me tell you something, youngsters, your phone. your internet, your ability to take pictures of your feet and your food and to text these glyphs of nonsense, your ability to deal with the narcissistic addiction that you have for self-portraiture, if all of a sudden that were just gone, not only that, power, ATMs, the ability to deal, the ability to speak, if just for just think about this, not a shot fired. And let's also talk about weather. What if I could go out into the world and let's say I could figure out that there is a tectonic plate in one particular part of the globe, right here, somewhere in the Pacific, I don't know, right around there. And I could take some form of directed energy weapons, one of your favorites, or some Tesla directed wave energy focal foci directed. And I could impinge and direct and hit that very precarious, very volatile, very geopositionally schizophrenic focal point. And I could trigger something, trigger an earthquake, trigger something. I could trigger a tsunami. You want to talk about shorting the real estate world. And remember one thing. When people try to explain what happened regarding these weird and crazy and wacky California fires, some people may have gone too far. Some people may have gone too far. Marjorie Taylor Greene was talking about lights or something or other, or Rothschilds or Jews, or I don't know. At least that's the way it was presented. But if you recall at the time, what people were saying that they saw was never reported. You listen and listen good. Remember, you only take flak when you're over the target. And we have been told all of a sudden that 1 minute there's a fire, and then there's amnesia. 1 minute we talk about Lahaina, and then we forget about it. 1 minute we talk about those weird Northern California fires with these weird burn patterns, and then they go away. Trucker strikes here, go away. Yellow vests in France, go away. Kate Middleton, go away. Poof. They're treating you like the child, like the crying baby who is distracted by keys. Like all of a sudden, baby says, "Oh, what is the keys? Oh, a squirrel! Oh." They're making sure that by virtue of this, I don't know what, this weird school system, the fact that we can't attend to anything, the fact that we're on psychotropically controlled whatever, all of these factors, all of these things, all of these weird, conflating, concatenating, weird vectors and weather and psychogenic lunacy, all of them compacted. And remember, whenever you say anything, whenever you suggest something, let me tell you how you can tell you're right on the target. Because you take flak. Now, as you know, my friends, they are constantly telling you all the time. They love this one. There's no such thing as EBEs, extraterrestrial biological entities, you know, UFOs, and there's no such thing as that. That's crazy. You're a nut. Stick with that. What are you talking about? Wi-Fi, 5G, that had nothing to do with exacerbating, potentiating any kind of coronaviruses. Whenever they tell you to shut up about something, whenever they tell you to shut up, I'm going to tell you a story I'm going to write one day, just for fun, because I'm kind of wacky. and I have a good imagination, but and it's totally speculative. I'm going to write a story about how everybody took this thing. Could have been a vaccine, could have been dental fillings, it could have been a vitamin, it could have been something that became incorporated in our biota, so to speak, our internal biosphere. And through some kind of weird halogenation process or something, a 5G or something turned it on. And we became, in essence, metallic. And we became walking transistors and walking receivers and walking who knows what. Crazy? Is that crazy? Crazy? You think Einstein's twins paradox is crazy? You think Schrodinger's cat's crazy? How about the notion of quantum entanglement and I mean, seriously, you tell me what? Tell me what's crazy. Tell me what's far-fetched. Tell me what's beyond the realm of possibility. Tell me. Tell me. You can't. So let me tell you something. You're going to forget about these solar flares and coronal mass ejections and all of this stuff. You've never heard of this. Who is this new group? This new group of people. What are you talking about? This new organization, we're going to talk about G4 geomagnetic storm watches and these new, who are these people? The NOAA's Space Weather Prediction Center. Oh, for God's sakes. Look, my generation gave you the emergency tone. Remember that? Beep, for the next 60 seconds. This station and others will conduct a test. This is only a test. Beep. What was that for? What was that for? It was to acclimate you, train you, keep you kind of freaked out. Don't worry, we're in control. Don't worry. Beep. In the event this had been a real emergency. Remember the time when Obama called us on our phone and says, hey, how did you know where I was? Just checking. Letting you know I'm here. Remember in Hawaii they said there's some kind of it was a hoax or a mistake or something. Just to let you know we're here. Just to let you know we're here. The three things you got to worry about: food, water, and energy. And years ago, when people started to store food, what were they called? Preppers, lunatics, crazy people. Nothing crazy about this, my friends. So you just sit back. Remember, just let this marinate. Let this hit you. And just sit back. Just sit back and ask yourself, is this possible? The notion of these folks ever controlling weather? Controlling something? Are we being played as a puppet? We always are. But the question is, who's in charge and what's going on? Remember how crazy we went regarding the solar flare? The eclipse. The eclipse. What the hell was that about? We went crazy. And then we had this little earthquake in New Jersey. I was here. Little geothermal, little fart. And people went nuts. What was that? Is that possible? Yes, it is possible. You don't think triggering an earthquake is possible? You're out of your mind. You are out of your mind. You don't know. And the thing about it is always to see how people react. That's all. How do you react? Remember what COVID was. It was the dress rehearsal, baby. It was a run-through. It was a dry run. It was a beta test. Let's make sure everything's in order. How do people react? What will they do? What will they not do? What will they resist? What freaks them out? Can we contain them? You know I'm right. That's why you're watching. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. Tell your others, your friends, or tell your others, whatever the hell that means. And comment, dear friends. Comment as you see fit.